Welcome to New Realities. I'm Alan Steinfeldt, and this program is about our spiritual awakening that's happening around the world, really, and that has its roots in the great traditions of the East, of India, and of yoga in particular, I would say. Yoga became the driving force behind the spiritualization of American culture. So tonight I have with me an expert, I would say, in yoga and the teaching of yoga. He's written a book called The Foundations of Yoga. He is Basile Catomeris. Basile, welcome back to New Realities.
Thank you.
I want to ask you a little bit about your life. And you know, you told me you took the middle path. So you worked in the world and you also studied yoga.
Right.
But what were you seeking in your life? You were seeking a career, but what brought you to your teacher? What was your awakening to show you there was something more than what the material world was telling you there was?
Well, I could say, by quoting a little anecdote, at the age of 18, having no background with my family into intellectual things or philosophical matters, I went to the library and I asked about the laws, the 6-volume laws of Plato. Plato in English. So I was very much interested about the nature of human beings. Who am I actually? And later on, when I was in Algeria in the military service, a good friend of mine presented to me a poem by Rudyard Kipling, you know, the Nobel Prize laureate. If, and this has impressed me very, very much. If the name, the title of that
was
is
called If. Alia,
right.
Yes.
And I understood much later that actually Rudyard Kipling had been living in India and influenced probably by Indian culture. And the characteristic of that poem was a kind of non-attachment, not indifference, but non-attachment. A very noble feeling was introduced in that.
That was the first time you heard of such a concept.
Right. So all those things, but within me, most probably, there was waiting, some awakening somehow for finding someone who would guide me or would teach me more than what I thought I could get out of reading.
What's that famous line in the Vedas you just said about finding a teacher?
It is in the Kathopanishad, not in the Kathopanishad. That is one of the Upanishads, when it says, "Arise, seek your teacher, and know who you are."
So you wanted to know who you are.
Well, I had it from my father, who was Greek already, this heritage with the Delphic oracle, where it says, know thyself, which is universal appeal, so to speak. And Socrates said, this is the wisest admonistation that you can hear about, know thyself. So it corresponded actually very much to my nature. And later on, I met a remarkable person in Stockholm, the capital of Sweden. And this was also a very strange circumstance, because it was on my birthday, which also corresponded to the birthday of my first son. So on that day, it was a meeting, so to speak. Meeting myself with my birthday, having my first son.
Your son was born on your birthday?
Yes, yes.
It was the birth of your son.
Yes, right.
On your birthday.
Yes. And the same evening, I just passed in the main street of Stockholm, and I saw a little poster where it was said, Professor Shyam Sundar Goswami, lecture on yoga. And I don't know, I never heard about that name, nor even yoga. What is this? I just felt to get in.
This was in like the
1956.
1950. I
on
was
the
born
7th
in
of September. I see. Oh, you're a young lad. So this is how I came to meet.
What day is it? What's the
7th of September.
7th of September, the day you were born.
Right.
That's symbolic.
Yes,
I
think so.
That's pretty amazing.
Yes.
So, what?
And from that time, this guiding poem was replaced more gradually by the teacher, who was no longer a virtual guide, but a real teacher.
So you met your teacher, whose name is
Shyam Sundar Goswami.
Shyam Sundar Goswami.
Right.
He was an Indian?
He was an Indian, and he had been invited to represent India at a World Congress for Physical Culture after a world tour.
Mm. So you saw him in Stockholm, Sweden?
Yes.
And
right.
did you see him that day on September 7th, or you just saw the sign?
Yes, yes.
You went to see him?
At the end of the lecture, I asked whether I could just hear more or see his Hatha Yoga classes. He was leading classes also at the same time.
So when you saw him, did something happen?
No.
I mean,
No, he was a foreigner to me. He was an Indian. I was a French, Italian, Greek, international being. I was really international. There was no physical attraction, no charismatic call, so to speak.
No, But so then what happened? But you were interested in his work.
I was interested by the subject. I was attracted unwillingly. I was attracted by the talk, the topic, and I understood that there is something in what I am searching that might get its answer.
Because you devoted the last 56 years of your life to understanding this.
Right, that is true.
So something must have. So you went to see him to start to study the Hatha Yoga?
I went to see one Hatha Yoga class by him, and there were people of different ages and different nationalities in Stockholm. Yeah. And then I watched from upstairs. He allowed me to do that.
Just to watch?
Yes, just to watch, saying nothing. And I watched to the end. At the end, there was a very strange thing. Those people, after having performed those peculiar balance postures,
right,
they were just sitting with cross legs, different types of cross legs, closing their eyes and being quite motionless, doing nothing.
You never saw anything like that before?
Never. And he was standing all along with his three-piece suit. He was standing all along, and he was just waiting. And the time was passing, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and nothing happened. And I thought, what is this? And after, at the end, not of the day, but the course, he said, over. And then the people came and said goodbye and goodbye.
You never saw people meditate ever before, just sit
still.
No,
this was 56, excuse me.
I
this was a pioneer time.
And
really.
You were shocked that people could sit still?
I went down, I was curious, intellectually, always been curious. I went down and said, this was very interesting, I said to a professor, everyone called him professor. And I said, but excuse me, but what were they doing at the end of the exercise?
You know, it's amazing how far we've come in since that time, because now everybody at least has an understanding of what meditation is. But back then, in the 50s, so he said...
He said simply, they know it. I thought my English is not very good. He didn't hear very well. I repeat my question. I said, excuse me, but what were they doing at the end of this course? And he just, with a very polite, nice smile, they know it. Finished.
They know it.
So I said, may I enroll your class? He said, yes, you can. So this is how the whole thing started.
But anyway. No, I think that's really interesting to hear. But when was the moment, so you started taking these classes, when was the moment that you realized this was your path and this was your teacher?
No. At that moment, I asked my wife gradually to accompany me to those courses. And it was once a week, only physical, psychophysical, as I mentioned before, asanas. And then I felt interested by this. I had never moved my body for 26 years because I had been under-nurtured during wartime and very prone to disease, very weak. And
you were 26 years old?
Yes, when I started. So I was really in a poor condition, really. And it was asking to bend the body forward, backward, sideward, and all those things. It was really something very, very difficult. But still, I felt that there is something, I should do something. And then I went a couple of times, and I felt that this gentleman at the age of 65 with nice hair like yours, like that, long hair and curl. I should give him a ride evening time at the end of the class. It was 9 p.m., rather late. And I gave him a ride. And one day I asked him, can you recommend some good readings?
Some books to read
Yes,
about. Yeah.
First I said, there are a couple of words I've read in a book I don't understand. And then he said, if you want to hear about those things, you should come to my lecture classes. At that time we had 3 lectures a week. And I didn't attend, I wasn't interested. And then he said, you should read The Life Divine by Sri Aurobindo, which I tried to undertake anyway. So this is the thing started. This approach was gradually. I was not just enthusiastically saying, oh, he's my teacher. No, absolutely not.
But was there a moment where you got, he's your teacher and there is this divine thing that's non-material? Because I remember the moment for me when I saw a teacher, and then I knew that I was not just my body, and it happened in the presence of a teacher. And but was there a moment for you where you...
I never asked him this. I was just living my own world. There was no speculation of that kind, absolutely no. No, I was just progressing with my body. Of course, in parallel, I had my family life, I had a profession, I was an immigrant, so I had a tough, very, very tough life, of course.
But as you went along and took the classes and listened to the lectures, what happened? What was your transformation? That's what I'm looking
It was more or less intellectual curiosity, and also aspects that he would raise about the potential of human beings, not only the physical, the wellness, but also the mental and the spiritual aspect. He was just speaking in concrete terms about things that I've never heard before with the religious.
But that made sense to you.
Of course it made sense,
yeah.
Because it sounded not like a new religion, but rather a rational explanation of things unknown.
Right. But there was a moment, I would think, or a series of moments where you, in a way, awoke to something bigger.
Not actually, no. No. I'm sorry to say,
no, it's okay.
It is not a revelation, something like that. It came gradually, and I think after 1 year, something like that, of practice, listening to his lectures, I felt that I should come still closer, because I understood that he was representing not modern India, but ancient India. He was a true representative of ancient India, and I understood that in this context, initiation, which is called Diksha, was essential.
So he was a teacher who initiated you?
I asked him whether I could be initiated. And then he said, in time it will come. And it took 21 years. It took 21 years of practicing, gradually becoming his close right hand, his assistant, and just a year before he passed away, he thought, it is time for you to be initiated.
And what does that mean, to be initiated? A lot of people talk about Diksha these days, but you've heard of the Diksha movement. And
it is a commitment. It is a stronger commitment, but it was already with me, because I was serving him, I was sharing quite a lot of things with him, and at the last, after 2-3 years, I didn't think any longer about this. I left the thing. But I will be just trying to help this gentleman living by himself, a foreigner like me, in a foreign country, in Sweden, and doing the very best I could do, writing, typing his manuscript, or and all those things. So it was not more than so, but eventually it came. The time came when he felt that perhaps it is time for me soon to leave that body, and I was initiated 21 years later.
And now you are the lineage holder of this tradition.
And then he mentioned one thing, that he mentioned about his spiritual mother, without saying who she was, anything like that. And I understood that in this yogic tradition, initiation is very important. It is a kind of commitment, a closer commitment to your spiritual approach or spiritual call or your spiritual ambitions. When you are entering into it, it is not specifically to one human being who appears to be your spiritual teacher, as we call the guru. No, it is more. You are committing yourself still closer to what you feel actually is essential in my life, spiritual quest, the divine, God, or whatever. This is the thing. And then when he passed away, I happened to know who that spiritual mother was. She was younger than he himself, illiterate, but a bright yogini who was able to sit 8 hours non-stop in samadhi while leading a household life, taking care of a stepdaughter and 3 grandchildren. 3 grandchildren she had by herself, with the support of her.
So you went to see
and
her?
Then, yes, I went to see her 7 years later, and she said to me, "You didn't come here, my son, just for greetings. You don't know. You came here to get initiation." I said, "No, I'm sorry. I have already got an initiation." "No," she said. "What you got is the basic initiation called Mula Mantra, the basic ones. To get the final one, like your own guru has got."
She gave that to you?
You have to tell me whether you feel fit or not. This was a clue. What is this? A final initiation? My teacher never told me that there are
levels and levels. But
no.
What did she give you in the initiation? What did she do? I mean, maybe it's immaterial.
First, I was so surprised that I couldn't answer yes or no. I was with a few disciples, from one Indian disciple and Sweden, and I said, "If you say so, and you are the spiritual teacher of my own late teacher, you must know, of course, if you feel that I am fit for it, certainly I will accept." And I accepted it.
And then what did she do?
And she gave me what they call Brahma Mantra Diksha, which is the highest initiation a yogi can get.
And did she lay her hands on you?
Oh, well, this is the ritual aspect. It is a virgin, a virgin which is supposed to play the role of the Divine Mother. Now we are coming into the Hindu. She's a virgin, yes, a young girl.
And then what does she do?
She obeys to the yogini, to the whole thing, and she imparts you with the Hindu yogic rituals, that initiation, and she utters in your ear this final
whispers in your ear?
Whispers.
The young girl. Your teacher.
No, the teacher. And then you have to practice with your teacher, in that case the yogini Ma Santi Devi, until she has seen that you are pronouncing that mantra correctly.
And that's the initiation?
Yes.
And this woman who was Ma Santi Devi?
Yes, and she passed away at the age of 98 in Gopalpur, which is about 45 minutes ride from Kolkata.
But all these years, there was something, you slowly developed this calling, this connection, this passion for yoga. And you're also living a life as an attorney, as a teacher, many different things, right?
Yes. Yes.
But was there ever a time where you wanted to get rid of that material world and go into being a yogi totally?
No. I had a family. I had commitment. I had obligations, and here we come to this middle way path, which was typical for that lady, Ma Santi Devi, that yogini. She was leading a household life with her stepdaughter to take care of, diabetes, mellitus, and like that, and 3 grandchildren. At the same time, she was spending hours in spiritual practice, different
states.
Yes. So this was an example, and also my teacher never said, "Oh, you are fit to go to the Himalayas, to retire to a hermitage," like that. Never. He always advocated the middle way path. And what is middle way path? He can tell me.
It's the path of the householder, the normal material world, and
yes, it is having one foot in the centrifugal world, social world, with family obligations, professional duties, perhaps community duties, and having the other foot in the centripetal. That means going evolutionary, and
Right.
where you have
In
you
the spiritual.
introspective work with yourself, the sadhana, they call it, the path of, in my case, of Hatha Yoga.
What was it that was making you so passionate about yoga all those years?
Well, the whole time I was discovering things within me.
Like what?
Well, about being myself and being, I would say, virtuous. And when I say virtuous, I have to define. Virtuous is when you are getting fully aware of developing your potential in many respects. And this doesn't give you the feeling of self-sufficiency or superiority upon others, but a fulfillment at different levels. Not only at the moment, I had a very nice training like that, and I feel very good, I feel very high, as they say, like that. No, it is more than so. It is something which is not temporary. It lasts for you a very long time, and just the feeling, that awareness of developing like a flower, blooming your potential, is be virtuous.
Many people feel like they're on the path of yoga or Eastern thought because they want to reach a level of enlightenment, awakening, jiva mukti. Was this something you want for your life? Or is it something possible for everybody too?
I think there was that possibility. It would be really pretentious to say that within this lifespan I will be, or do I want actually be, a jivan mukti. That means free from the cycle of lives. Is not life wonderful?
It is wonderful, but you know, once you complete it, then maybe there's other adventures to go on to. I think it's great.
You know, jivan muktis are of two kinds. One is that kind who is quite free from all those samskaras, subliminal impressions accumulating during the periods, long periods, many lives, and those will just escape the cycle of life and unite with the divine. They have accomplished their path, so to speak, their destiny, and they will reunite. This is one category of jivan mukta, freed alive. And the other one is another kind of people who say, I want, although I am quite free, no desires any longer, no envy of anything, to help others towards that.
So these people who want their own freedom, and people are here to achieve.
Yes. So this also we have to remember about this, that there is only one kind, that goodbye to the world and to the possibilities of enjoying life with all what life can give us. And it is also that possibility for those people also to help others to reach.
I think the Dalai Lama said you have to be sort of selfish in helping others because you know they're a part of you, and if they're not free, you're not going to be free.
That kind of thinking, yes.
Yeah. What do you want people to get from these books and from the teaching? I mean, what do these books offer people that you feel can help them in their lives?
When we speak about my teacher's book, the third edition of Advanced Hatha Yoga, this is a classic manual. It is really complete. It deals with Hatha Yoga. It deals with all those aspects that human beings possess potentially. Not all of us are developed within us. It deals with it in a very thorough way and presented in a scientific language. This is one thing. My own contribution here is a supplement, and actually what I have written here is based upon the oral teaching and also what I remember and my own practice. And this is not a manual, but it is the structure of what is yoga actually, and what can it give to a middle way person like you, like me.
What can it give us? Just give us a little soundbite of what it can give.
What it can give, it can give you first, of course, specifically what you are practicing yoga, you are expected to progress in this sense. That means go ahead and more get some spiritual experiences. By spiritual experience we mean which are not quite sensorially connected.
Right, non-material.
Yes, but the other one is that there is a kind of osmotic relationship with the outer world. That means that many things you can get out of this practice of Hatha Yoga. You can utilize. Let's say, for example, the power of concentration.
So you can get that from
for example,
doing these examples.
Endurance, vitality, sleeping less and still being quite awakened and not out of balance.
How many hours do you sleep a day?
No, 7 hours.
But you're a yogi and you're still doing yoga.
Yes.
We have to wrap up, but
yes.
sorry, thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
There's more to be said here on the show, and I hope we have a chance to say it again.
With pleasure, my pleasure. Thank you.
Basile Catomeris' latest book on yoga is this one, The Foundations of Yoga. And he writes a lot about your teacher, Sri Shyam Sundar Goswami.
Goswami, yes.
Thank you. Do you have a website?
Goswami Yoga Institute.com.
Goswami Yoga Institute.com. Thank you. I've been talking to Basile Catomeris about the foundations of yoga and his 50+ years as a yogi in the East and the West. And I recommend his book, Foundations of Yoga. You'll find a lot of his secrets in there, a lot of the hard work he put into understanding the Eastern traditions and trying to communicate it to the West. Thanks for watching tonight.
Thank you, Alan. Thank you.
I'm Alan Steinfeldt for New Realities. Reach me at newrealities.com. Email me at newrealities@earthlink.net. Thanks for watching. Look for me on YouTube, and see you next week.